Well, welcome back to Emory Board Productions and our continuation of moving up the ladder a little bit. We've started with elementary addition and the action language needed there with quite a few examples, adding some manipulatives in there that would help you, mostly of the concrete type, when we can talk about the differentiation between manipulatives in a bit. But I wanted to go up the tier from repeated addition, or the very basics of multiplication, to another tier we'll call cross-product multiplication. And let's take another kind of nice scenic math story and create this this type of multiplication from it for your students, incorporating action language and easy to use manipulatives. The dive crew on the west side of Maui and their captains were posing for advertising brochures in front of the three dive boats, Endeavor, Reliant, and the Dauntless. They took photos in each of their three uniform polos. They had a white, a blue, and a green. How many combinations of polos and boats were there, and what were they? So this presents ourselves with a little bit more complex multiplication, and just as a way of reference for your teaching notes, that when we move into cross-product multiplication, we're really getting into the distribution of one set over another set, and yet it can be kept within language that kids understand so that they can progress into this naturally without a lot of memorization. The action language in a story like this should be the three polos to be worn in front of three dive boats, or three sets of three. Now our number sentence would look like three sets of three. The math sentence, if you will, in a textbook would look simply like 3 times 3. Our solution, well, we got it in our head, is 9, and our meaning is combinations, or combinations of dive boats and polos. Let's move a little bit further along here and see what some of the ways of figuring this out might be. Now, one would simply be, especially if you're a homeschooling teacher without a lot of resources at your disposal, take a simple paper plate, if you will, and let's call one paper plate Endeavor, one Reliant, and whoops, let's get that corrected. And one Dauntless. A perfect example again of concrete manipulatives. Kids love to use things that they can feel and touch. Some kids may not need it, others may be able to go either way, and some will really appreciate this. If we take the colored polos that we're talking about, and we said there was a white and a blue, and probably some sort of seafoam green. Let's see what comes close to that. It will still show. Let's put a bright green because it'll show up better. And then we get the green in under the Reliant, and the blue there as well, and then the white, which should probably, in Maui wouldn't have a white, they'd have a sand colored. And under the Dauntless as well, we've got white, we've got blue, and then there's our green. And the kids can touch, feel, and see the different combinations, add them on up, and they are also going to come up with 9 combinations. Alright, and another way of taking a look at that is simply to count out the possibilities and then pair them with their dive boats. For instance, on the Endeavor, we can have a white and we can have a green and we can have a blue, and obviously the same for the Reliant, and the same for the Dauntless. which we're going to have a little trouble getting all the colors in bounds here, I think, but we'll give it our best bet. And there too, the kids can just simply add something they're very familiar with in order to get the number of pairs or combinations that are available to them there. If we wanted to make this, rather than moving on to the type of multiplication that we just went over, and wanted to stick with a repeated addition, we would see that what we've really got on our hands here are 3 combinations. I'll call them combos. Polos and die boats. And that's the same for the Reliant. We have 3 combos, polos, and die boats, and then 3 combos, polos, and die boats. And what do we do here? We simply have the repeated addition, and it's 3 combos joined with 3 combos joined with, and we get 9 combinations. Polos and boats. Well, that's certainly a number of different ways of taking a look at what could look on the surface like quite a complex cross-product math problem, but it doesn't have to be with your tutelage in action language and appropriate manipulatives. Thanks again for tuning in to Emory Board Production. Come back and see us again.